Welcome to Miller's Monsters, and we're going to talk about the 2010 movie Rare Exports. But before that, please take a moment, hit the subscribe, hit the like button, ring the bell, set yourself up for notifications so you don't miss a new video, and please share with your friends. And as always, it's kind of catchy. Think you can take about a minute of this? There be spoilers ahead. Alright, so Rare Exports is a Christmas movie. It is a foreign film, so you will have to read some subtitles. And it's not too fast, so there's no issues there. But I found this one on Tubi. And so, Tubi is a free streaming service, so you can get this for free. And it's a story about a guy that searches out to find Santa Claus. And he's got a crew at the top of the mountain drilling samples. And they drill into sawdust. And this is when we first meet the entrepreneur that's out looking for Santa Claus, and he says, back in the day they used to use Santa Claus to keep ice. No refrigerators back then, so they packed ice in sawdust. So they dig a little deeper, and sure enough, they found a block of ice, and he has his crew start excavating, easy for me to say, oh wow, the site. And of course, they're taking dynamite to it and all that. So at the bottom of the hill is a village, a small village, and this village is dependent upon herding reindeer every year, and that's how they make their money for the year, is herding the big herd of reindeer. Unfortunately, this year there was no reindeer, so they set out to find out what happened to the reindeer, and they noticed that all the reindeer have been slaughtered. And obviously, they're blaming the people up on the hill with all the blasting going on. And his son, Petari, and a friend of his, Huso, snuck on up the hill to see what was going on. And, they believe that they found, at least Petari believes they found where Santa Claus is buried, and that's what they've been excavating. And Petari does his research on Santa Claus, and he reads about really the violent side of Santa Claus, or the Krampus side of, or the anti-Santa Claus Krampus, how he whips children. We talked about this earlier, people, how he whips children with willow branches, and even this one's more scarier. He eats children as well. And so Petari is terrified, and he puts on all his whatever gear he has. He looks like he's about to play hockey to protect himself from this creature. And one morning he wakes up and notices that something's been walking on the roof. And so we get back to the big reindeer slaughter, and obviously Petari's dad is furious, and he decides he's going to go up and confront the crew working on this mountain. And so him and two other guys work their way up the mountain and find that it's deserted. Everyone is gone, and so there really is no one to confront. All they can find is this huge hole that's been blasted out, and that runs way deeper than they can ever climb down. So that's about all they can do there. And so back to the town they go. And earlier in the film, Petari's dad has dug a coyote trap which is a big hole, put stakes in the ground, and pointed stakes in the ground, and the little bait above the hole, and wolf goes for the bait, falls in the hole, gets stabbed by the stakes. And he's trying to protect the reindeer herd, which at this point is useless because all the reindeer have been slaughtered. So one morning, the trap, they notice that the bait is gone on the trap, and Petari's father goes out there to check the trap, and finds a man down there. So Petari's rushed back in the house, and they bring this man into the slaughterhouse. And he's a really old man and a long beard, and they think he's dead to start with. And while they're looking at this man, Petari goes down in the hole and finds this sack that is holding a wooden doll of a little child. And so that's curious of what's going on there. And so things progress to where they find out, Petari happens to see his dad and a friend in there with what is supposed to be a dead body that they decide they're going to cut up and hide. And really? You gonna eat that? Okay. Thought she was gonna spit it out. Anyways, they're about to cut it up, and all of a sudden he starts breathing again. So they're scared about that. And his father sees Petari at the window, and he takes off. Father runs after him. They end up in a car and going. He runs to a sheriff's car, gets in that, and Petari's father thinks, "Oh, the jig is up. The kid's selling me out." But they end up going to another person's house, and some strange happenings have been going on that night, where every house has had their radiator stolen or their oven stolen. No one knows what's happened to it. No one can figure out why. And then Petari says, "Hey, where's Huso?" And the father says he's probably sleeping, but Petari goes up to the room and finds one of those wooden dolls in the bed, and tries to tell him that Uso's been kidnapped by the Santa Claus that came out of that they dug up the grave for. But of course, no one believes him at first. So in the meantime, the one person left with this old man that's barely breathing is trying to talk to him, and ends up getting his ear. Boy, where is my mind? His ear bitten, and that's when everybody gets back. Petari's father brings Petari back and the friend from the other village back, and they find out that this guy's still alive, and he's just sitting there doing nothing. And they try to poke him with a broom to get him to do stuff, and nothing happens. And eventually Petari comes into the slaughterhouse, and all of a sudden this guy perks up and starts staring at Petari. And it just so happened that the gentleman they caught borrowed a radio from the excavating crew, one for me, and has a walkie-talkie in it, and they hear the benefactor, or the guy funding this mission, on, "Hey, is Santa ready to be shipped?" And they just lost all this money, so they had said, "Hey, yeah, we got Santa, what do you want what do you want with them?" And they're going to sell the Santa Claus to them for the $85,000 they lost by the reindeer being slaughtered. So now they dress him up in a Santa outfit, and take him to the airport to meet the benefactor of the excavation. And so they bring him over, and he's checking him out, and all of a sudden he notices something in his eye, and he says, "This isn't Santa Claus, this is one of his elves." And that's pretty much when all hell breaks loose, and all around him there's these older gentlemen, these elves, that are coming after him, and they end up throwing a pickaxe and killing the benefactor, so he's out of the question now. And in the meantime, all of a sudden Petari is the smartest one in the group, because he remembers all of his readings, and how they have those Christmas calendars for December. You open up one every day. He had stapled the door that said 24 on that calendar shut, because he was afraid to open it. And on a hanger where they're at now is on the door is the number 24. So it was maybe premonition, I don't know. But he goes wandering off to look into there, and the father and the two friends run into there. And what you realize is that these guys were just elves, the older gentlemen, chasing them, and they've made a home or a nest for the real Santa. And when I say Santa, I mean Krampus Santa, because he's in this block of ice surrounded by all the radiators and stoves that they stole to try and melt the ice and release him, and the two big horns are coming out of the ice. So that kind of leads me to believe that it was Krampus in there, and there's a big, whipping stick that he's holding that's protruding the ice as well. And Petari comes up with a plan. He says, listen, the elves aren't going to leave here with all the kids there, because all the kids were in the hangar as well in burlap bags. And he devises this plan to where luckily one of the guys can fly a helicopter, and they put all the kids in a cargo net, hook it up to the helicopter, and off they go. And all the elves chase them, and he's going to bring them into the pen where they usually keep the reindeer, and herd them all in there and capture all of the elves in there. And while he leaves his father and the other two men to set explosives over Krampus so that he can't be come to life or be thawed out. So the plan works. Petari leads them all to the pen, but the pen gate is closed, and there's the only way is for him to jump and open it up, and I'll be damned if he didn't jump from the helicopter and open the gate up as such a young kid. I don't know if I would have had the gumption to do that, but he did, and opens the gate up, and he realizes that it's a one-way ticket. He's probably not going to survive. And just as the horde of elves are running at him with shovels and pickaxes ready to do their dirty work, they pull the pin on Santa, or Krampus Santa, and blow him to smithereens. And once they do that, it must have been some spell he had over these elderly elves, and the spell was removed, and they become docile, so Petari is saved. So a happy ending for this movie. Petari's safe, everybody's safe, the kids go back home. Petari turns out to be the wisest of the group out of everybody to come up with such a plan. And now, for some reason, before they blew up Santa, they cut the horns off and put him in the truck. I don't know what they did with the horns, they never show. But now they have this pen full of elderly elves, and what do you do with 198 elderly elves? Well, you teach them to play Santa Clauses, and you sell them at $85,000 a head, which is again how much they lost in the reindeer herd. And if they sell them all, they're bound to make north of $16 million. So all's well that ends well, and the elves get cleaned up and trained, and and the last scene is them shipping one of the elves off. I forget the country that he went off to. It's really well made. There's only a little bit of gore in this, but it is, a horror story because of the story behind Krampus and that. And it is a nice little Christmas story for us horror people. It's not all lovey-dovey and ooh, like what is the ones you see nowadays. I can't even think of the names. It sickens me to think of it. So I won't think of it. I'll just think of Krampus and rare exports. But this is the second time I've actually watched it, and I've enjoyed it both times. It's a 3 out of 5. It's not your normal Christmas story, and if that's what you're looking for, then I highly recommend it. Although it does have subtitles, and I can't really say much for the acting, because it's really hard to judge the acting when you're reading subtitles and they're speaking foreign languages. But the film itself, well worth the watch. So if you liked what you heard, hit the bell, hit subscribe, hit like, set yourself up for notifications so you don't miss another new video that comes out, and share with your friends. Until next time, I'll talk to you later.